Shabbos, good Shabbos. So take a seat, please take a seat, because we're about to open up Torah. If that melody, Makom Bina, by my beloved friend Deborah Sachs-Binz, didn't open your heart, didn't make a place for understanding, a Makom Bina, do whatever you need to do to make more space for some Torah, for some wisdom, for the wisdom that is already Nata B'tochenu, already embedded, already planted within us. We don't have a Sefer Torah outside of us, but each one of us has a helical swirling Sefer, a storybook of eternality within us. And there are going to be 3 opportunities le'alot, to get up, to have an aliyah. I also did not coordinate this first one with Yonatan, but it's all about the spine as well. We're about to hear the story of Sulam Yaakov, Jacob's ladder, or Jacob's ramp, or Jacob's stairway to heaven. The tradition doesn't know what it is, what a sulam is. A sulam, in modern Hebrew, a sulam is a scale. It's the thing that we scale, both ascend and descend, to make melody. Really fascinatingly, also, we talk over and over again about Manorah HaMakom Hazeh, how awesome is this place. Arabic music scales are called makam. Makam, makom, it's the place. We know that music is this, sulam is a sha'ar shamayim, a gateway to heaven, a portal. But this aliyah is for those of us who need to or want to embody the sulam. The sulam, they play with the Mefarshim, the commentators play with this word sulam, with the gematria, with the numerical equivalence of this word. The Baal Shem Tov teaches it's mammon, it's nourishment, it's satisfaction, it's satiation. And the Baal HaTurim says that sulam is the gematria is equivalent to Sinai, it's a place of revelation. But before we encounter the sulam, Jacob takes stones of the place. If you haven't already connected with the earth of this place, I invite you to do that now. Takes from the stones of this place, and if we read it really carefully, places it underneath his heads. His heads. Rashotav, plural. How many of us are of dual minds? Or at least 2 minds. At least 2 minds. Sulam is written with a samech, lamed, mem. Samech, lamed, mem. Apparently, according to the Talmud, when Moses came down with the first tablets, which were written by God's finger, God's self, it was miraculously carved like a stencil all the way through the stone. But what's the problem with etching that goes all the way through the stone? A letter that has a central piece, like just think about an A. A stencil of an A needs this little tab to make it hang in the middle. So too with the samech and the mem. These are the only 2 letters that were suspended by a nes, by a miracle. We're in the season of Al Hanisim, of the miraculous. And in the samech and the mem, there was something miraculously open, causing Torah to be a sam chaim, a remedy of life, a medicine of life, samim. So sulam starts with a samech and ends with a mem. I want to talk about the lamed for a second. Lamed is the letter of lahav, of fire, of passion, of power, hitlaavut, of enthusiasm, being filled with vitality. It's also a letter of connection. Lecha, lach, lechem, lanu, li. It's the letter of infinitive, making every verb a continual action. Lishmoa, lilmod, ulelamed. We are the lamed. We have this living light lingering within us for who knows how long. And we have this miraculous opening. We think of ourselves as very solid, but we're actually tubes. From beginning to end. We take in energy, it hangs out for a little while, and then we let it go. We are each a sulam, miraculously held open for who knows how long. We say in the blessing, Asher Yatzar, if one of them were to open that shouldn't open, or if one of them were to close that shouldn't be closed, we could not stand before you for even a nanosecond. Afilu sha'ah echad. Maybe you're just discovering in this moment that you are a Sulam Yaakov. Maybe you are discovering right now for the first time that you want to be a stairway to heaven, a gateway to God, a conduit of the blessing of life. Maybe you're just learning for this moment, for the first time, you are Sinai, the place of revelation. So if I'm reminding you of something or teaching it to you the first time, or you have absolutely no idea what I just said, but it feels right and it's something you want to live into, please rise for this first Aliyah.
Amen. Vayetze Yaakov mi Beersheva, vayelech Harana, and Jacob left Beersheva, the 7 wells, and he went to Haran. Vayifka b'makom, vayalen sham kiva shemesh, vayikach me'avnei hamakom, vayasem mira'ashotav, vayishkav b'makom hahu, and he came upon a certain place. Happenstance? How many of our important moments happen by happenstance? And he slept there, for the sun was setting, and he took many, from the stones of that place, and he placed it beside his head or heads, and he slept in that place. Vayachalom, and he dreamt. V'hinei sulam mutzav arza v'rosho magia hashamayma. V'hinei malachei Elohim olim v'yordim bo. And look, there was a ladder standing, set in the earth, in the land, and its head and its top was reaching heavenward. And look, messengers, angels of Elohim, of God, of presence, going up and coming down on it.
Horenu Abraham Yitzchak Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel Leah Bilhah Zilpah Dinah Naomi. He Tevarech, may the one who blessed us, blessed our ancestors, bless all those who rose for the blessing of Torah and the blessing of Shabbat. This blessing is going to come from within the Sulam, within each one of us. Perhaps right now, as you embody the Sulam, you can speak a word of what you know and what you remember to be a blessing when you are awake and aware to the connection of being alive in the body. What is the blessing? What does the Sulam say through you right now? A word or two. Shout it out. Vitality. Freedom.
Passion. Connection. Beauty.
Movement. Find your mind.
Curiosity.
Flow.
Wholeness.
For the giving and the receiving, for the going up and coming down, let us all say.
Amen.
Please be seated. We're about to hear God speak to us and Yaakov in that place with the promise, Ufaratzta Yama Vakedma Tzafona Venegba, and you will spread out to the west, to the east, to the north, and to the south. This on the surface, in the Pshat, the basic meaning is that there's going to be so much abundance, so much prosperity, so much that it's going to spread out in all directions, right? We're setting up another dimensionality. First we have the up-down space, and now we're going earthwise. But the order and the verb is kind of strange. Ufaratzta, like we every Friday night when we sing Lecha Dodi, we talk about the Mashiach coming from Ish, what's the line? Ish Protzi, Ish Ben Protzi, right? Partzi, right? The sun actually, Pritzutz is licentiousness or kind of sluttiness in some way, right? Like you've spread your boundaries too thin, like you're too open, right? Rashi translates Ufarasta as v'chazakta, you will strengthen. It's a really strange mixture of verbs, right? Are we getting diffuse or are we having strong boundaries? Also, looking at the Kabbalah of the order of these directions, it's a strange order, west, east, north, south. Usually there's this orientation to the sun, to the east, Ust. The etymology of the word east is the same as the root for aurora, towards the dawn, towards the light. But the message that maybe is here for us is that you're going to get strengthened by loosening your boundaries a little bit in the place of the dark. Yama, west, really means towards the ocean, the place of Tiamat, the unknown, the fertile darkness. From the west to the east, north, Safon means hidden, the hidden place, north and south. So again, as I stand, seeing do not enter on the left and do not enter on the right. We've made this like this vertical connection and knowing our center in the spine. But this aliyah is for those of us who need to maybe invert and look in the other way and look in the other direction. Maybe something that feels like it's sapping our energy really needs us to turn and face it with strength. Maybe something that like, oh, we know where the light is. We've had our back on the whole time. If you're yearning for some sort of trickle of energy to turn into a powerful, abundant blessing of flow, this aliyah is for you. Please rise. Baruch
Amen. V'hinei Adonai nitzav alav vayomar ani yudhei vavhei Elohei Avraham avicha v'Elohei Yitzchak haaretz asher ata shochev aleha lecha etnena ulezarecha. Look, Adonai is poised above him and says, I am Yud-Heh Vav-Heh, the God of Abraham your father, and the God of Isaac. Wasn't Isaac Jacob's father? Haaretz asher, the land that you are sleeping upon, to you I will give it and your children. V'haya zaracha kafar haaretz ufaratzta yama v'kedma v'tzofana v'nekba v'nivrechu v'cha kol mishpachot ha'adama u'v'zarecha. And your children will be like the dust of the earth and burst forth west and east, south and north, north and south, and all the families of the earth shall be blessed through you and through your children. V'hinei anochi imach Ushmarticha b'chol asher telech v'hashivoticha el hadama hazot ki lo ezavcha ad asher imasiti et asher dibarti lach. Look, I will be with you and watch over you wherever you shall go and return you to this land. For I will not abandon you, I will not leave you until I have done what I have spoken to you. Vayikatz Yaakov Mishnato, and Jacob woke up from his sleep. Vahayomer, and he said, Achein yesh Adonai b'makom hazeh. Repeat after me. Yes, there is Yud-Heh Vav-Heh. Yes, there is Yud-Heh Vav-Heh. In this place. In this place. And I did not know it. Vayira vayomar manora makom hazeh, and he was awestruck and said, how awesome is this place, Ein zeh ki im beit Elohim v'zeh shara shamayim. Isn't this but the house of Elohim? And is this is the gate of heaven. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam yata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless all of us with the courage to not know. Va'anochi lo yadati. May we not have to be fleeing from our fate in order to have the grace of the encounter. Here God is all the time. May we have the courage to say, yes, and to open to the possibility, to the pronoia, that the world is conspiring to shower us with blessings. And let us say, Amen. Please be seated. That's Rob Bresney, pronoia. Pronoia. So Jacob has this encounter and pours out oil, as we're about to read, pours out oil and sets up a matzeva.
He wants to remember that rooted experience. Sulam, Mutzav, Arza, V'magia, Shamayim. He wants to have that non-dual experience of being entirely rooted in this world and still open to God and the expanse, immanence and transcendence in one. Elohim li, Havaya li Elohim, he's about to say, but he pours out oil to do this and then promises to tithe, to give 1/10. And I don't know about you, but I have difficulty measuring inside outside sometimes. Prentice Hartnell says that the good boundaries are the distance at which I can love myself and love you at the same time. And I feel like we're often either totally giving or completely self-centered. And we go kind of back and forth between those two. We try to switch off and on. But what would it be to pour out just a little bit? To soften the stone just a little bit, to give 10%, to be 10% more transparent. Not full opacity. Not like I'm not here, I'm only here for selfless service and unconditional love. Or like I really need a little bit more me time. Like it's all about my process, there's no world out there, or maybe the world only totally exists within me, and if I fix this out, I do the tikkun olam and the tikkun nefesh and tikkun Torah in my heart, all will be okay, okay? If you need to find that right balance, to the osher v'osher, the fortune and the abundance of giving 10%, or taking 90%, whatever your imbalance is, to come into greater alignment, to bring along all of those blessings of being the vertical connection and the horizontal connection, but to do it in time and do it all the time and do it at the right time. Or if you just want to be close to Torah in this way for this third aliyah, please rise. Rise in your heart. Baruch hu et Adonai Hamvorach. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Yah Eloheinu le'olam v'natan lanu. Baruch atah
Amen. Vayashkem Yaakov baboker, and Jacob rose up early in the morning. Those exact words also described what Abraham, Jacob's grandfather, did at two momentous moments in his life. Vayikach et ha'even asher sam rashotav, vayosem ota matzeva. Vayitzok shemen al rosha, and he took a stone that was placed by his head and placed it and made it into a pillar, and he poured oil on the top of it. Vayikra shem hamakom ahu Beitel ve'ulam luz shem ha'ir larishona, and he called the name of that place Beit El, the house of El of God. But Luz was the name of that town originally. Vayidar Yaakov neder leimar, im yihye Elohim imadi, yushmarani baderech hazeh asher anochi oleich, v'natan li lechem lechol v'gedlo ba'osh. And Jacob swore us a vow, saying, if Elohim will be, not Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh, with me, and watch my path, this path that I am going on, and give to me bread to eat and a garment to wear. V'shavti v'shalom el beit avi, v'haya Adonai li le'Elohim. And if I return in peace to my father's house, then Yud Hey Vav Hey will be for me an Elohim, a God. V'yorev ben hazot asher samti matzeva yiyeh beit Elohim. V'chol asher titen li yaser asrenu lach. And this stone which I placed made as a pillar will be a Beit Elohim, a house of God, and all that you give me, I will take, surely take 1/10 of it and give it to you.
Baruch atah Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan Torah v'chayei olam natan b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Eloheinu Yishaberach Horeinu, may the one who blessed our ancestors bless those who came, who rose up to honor Torah and honor Shabbat with the right balance of oil and stone, with the right balance of self and other, with the good balance of transcendence and immanence. May we give and receive abundantly, generously, courageously. May we speak our truth and love everyone at the same time. Let us say, Amen. So, before we go into some movement with Jory, I want to bring to mind all of those in need of healing. And I recognize that oftentimes when we think about healing, because there's pain, because there's fear, because disease is sometimes off-putting and dreadful, to bring to mind the beautiful aspects of healing, the harmony of healing, the light and the possibility of healing, as we hold those who are in places of brokenness, as we hold the parts of ourselves that are in brokenness. Ana Elna Rifana Ana Elna Rifana Say the names out loud. Ana Elna Rifana Ana Elna May the Holy One bless all of those in need of healing of body, heart, mind, spirit, and soul. May they encounter, may we witness, may we experience a complete and total healing quickly and in our days, in all the ways, in all the worlds. May we repair our relationship to our mother, this earth, and to our relationship with one another. And let us all sing.